As the shadows of doubt receded and public support swelled, the mutilations remained vigilant, understanding that the battle against the supernatural threats was far from over. For now, a temporary calm settled over the world, and the people could rest easy knowing that heroes stood ready to protect them. The mutilations continued to hone their skills, strengthen their bonds, and prepare for the inevitable return of the shadows. They understood that their duty extended beyond the immediate challenges. They were guardians, protectors against forces that transcended the ordinary. The world, basking in a newfound sense of security, began to rebuild and heal. The symphony of hope played in the hearts of those who had witnessed the mutilation's courage and sacrifice. Citizens around the globe, inspired by the heroes who had faced the darkness head-on, found solace in the knowledge that a formidable force stood between them and the supernatural threats that lingered. The mutilations became symbols of resilience, unity, and the unwavering commitment to protecting life. Though the threat had temporarily subsided, the heroes knew that one day the shadows would return, and their battle would resume. The world, however, could find comfort in the fact that, for now, they were not alone. The mutilations, guardians of humanity, stood watchful, ready to face whatever malevolent forces lurked in the unseen corners of existence. As the people rested easy, the heroes prepared for the next chapter in their ongoing saga, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who dared to stand against the shadows and embrace the symphony of hope that echoed through the fabric of their extraordinary lives. In the bustling city of Redemption Falls, Victor, once known for his cold heart and ruthless actions, found himself at a crossroads. His life took an unexpected turn when he encountered Kevin, the healer with the ability to mend wounds and restore balance. Kevin's touch had a profound impact on Victor, not just physically but also deep within his soul. Haunted by a past filled with questionable decisions and a disregard for others, Victor grappled with newfound emotions. The healing touch of Kevin had not only repaired his physical ailments, but had also triggered a transformation in his character. The once callous man began to feel a warmth he had long forgotten. Haunted by guilt and a desire for redemption, Victor sought guidance from Kevin. The healer, recognizing the sincerity in Victor's newfound quest for goodness, became a mentor of sorts. Kevin shared lessons of compassion, empathy, and the responsibility that came with having extraordinary abilities. As Victor navigated the challenging path of self-discovery, he faced skepticism and suspicion from those who remembered his darker days. The shadows of his past clung to him, but he remained determined to change, to use his powers for good. His first test came when he witnessed a mugging in a dimly lit alley. The old Victor might have turned a blind eye, but the transformed man couldn't stand idly by. Drawing on the lessons from Kevin, he intervened with a calculated use of his newfound abilities. Instead of resorting to violence, Victor employed his powers to create a diversion, a dazzling display of lights that disoriented the assailant and allowed the victim to escape unharmed. The act, fueled by a desire to protect rather than harm, marked a significant step in Victor's journey towards redemption. However, change didn't come without challenges. The city, still remembering the man Victor once was slow to embrace this new version of him. Rumors circulated, skepticism persisted, and whispers of doubt trailed him like shadows. Yet Victor pressed on, determined to prove that a person could evolve, that redemption was possible. In an attempt to contribute positively to his community, Victor began volunteering at a local shelter. He used his abilities to lift spirits, creating vibrant, comforting atmospheres for those who sought refuge. His actions, once driven by selfish motives, now became selfless acts of kindness. The turning point came when a powerful storm threatened the city. Victor, armed with his abilities, took charge, not to exploit the situation, but to protect those in harm's way. He used his powers to shield the vulnerable, divert the destructive elements of the storm, and ensure the safety of the community. Word of Victor's selfless deeds spread, and slowly, the city began to see him in a new light. The skepticism waned as Victor continued his mission to be a force for good. The shadows of his past still lingered, but the symphony of his redemption played on, resonating through the city streets. In Kevin's mentorship and the unwavering pursuit of a better self, Victor discovered the true power of transformation. The man whose heart was changed by a healer became a symbol of redemption and the enduring belief that, no matter how dark the past, one could always strive to be a beacon of light in the present. In the aftermath of Victor's act of heroism during the storm, Kevin recognized the potential within him and the genuine change that had taken root in his heart. Determined to provide Victor with further guidance and support, Kevin proposed the idea of him joining the Mutilations, a team of individuals with extraordinary abilities united against supernatural threats. As the storm clouds cleared, Kevin and Victor made their way to the newly built Mutilations headquarters nestled at the top of the Colorado Mountains. The headquarters, a fortress of technological marvels and mystical safeguards, stood as a symbol of the team's commitment to protecting humanity. Entering the imposing structure, Victor felt a mix of anticipation and humility. The echoes of his past deeds still lingered, but he carried with him the hope of redemption. The team, gathered in the central meeting chamber, welcomed the duo with a mix of curiosity and guarded optimism. Chris, the leader of the Mutilations, acknowledged Victor's transformation and the potential he brought to the team. After a thoughtful discussion, it was decided Victor would be inducted as the newest member of the Mutilations. Kevin, proud of the journey Victor had undertaken, stood by his side as Chris led the induction ceremony. The team members welcomed Victor into their ranks, recognizing that redemption and change were not only possible but worth celebrating. Victor, now officially a part of the Mutilations, underwent a period of training and integration. Each team member shared their unique skills and experiences, fostering a sense of camaraderie and unity. Colin, Riley, and Sierra welcomed him with open arms, understanding that the power of transformation extended beyond physical abilities. In the days that followed, Victor found himself surrounded by mentors and allies who encouraged his journey toward being a force for good. Under the watchful eyes of the Mutilations, he continued to refine his abilities, learning to harness them not only for personal growth but for the greater good of humanity. The Mutilations, now complete with their newest member, stood ready to face whatever supernatural threats loomed on the horizon. The symphony of their diverse powers harmonized, creating a united front against the shadows that sought to plunge the world into darkness. As Victor settled into his role within the team, he found solace in the shared mission of the Mutilations. The mountainous headquarters became a sanctuary where individuals with extraordinary abilities worked together to protect a world that, at times, seemed teetering on the edge of the unknown. The induction of Victor marked not only the addition of a powerful ally but also a testament to the transformative power of redemption within the symphony of the Mutilations. In the wake of the Mutilations' recent heroism and the inspiring example they set, a wave of hope cascaded across the globe. Ordinary people, inspired by the notion that heroism could be found within everyone, began to rise up against injustice and crime. Among these emerging heroes, one man distinguished himself with unparalleled intellect, peak human abilities, and an arsenal of gadgets. This exceptional individual, known as the Vigilant, emerged in his hometown as a beacon of justice. Driven by a relentless pursuit of a safer community, the Vigilant utilized his genius intellect to analyze crime patterns, identify potential threats, and devise strategies to combat criminal activities. Unlike the Mutilations, the Vigilant possessed no supernatural abilities, relying instead on his peak human physicality, tactical prowess, and a plethora of gadgets that would make any superhero envious. His sleek, high-tech suit served both as protection and a symbol of hope for those who had long felt abandoned by the conventional forces of law. The Vigilant's actions ranged from thwarting petty crimes to dismantling organized criminal enterprises. He became a mythic figure in the city, leaving behind only whispers and the occasional sighting captured on surveillance cameras. The public, inspired by the Vigilant's courage and determination, began to rally behind his cause. Citizens organized neighborhood watch programs, supported local law enforcement, and collectively stood against the rising tide of criminal activities. The symphony of collective action echoed through the streets, fostering a sense of unity and empowerment among the people. The Mutilations, aware of the Vigilant's efforts, observed from their mountainous headquarters. While cautious of individuals taking the law into their own hands, they recognized the sincerity and commitment of those who, inspired by their example, sought to make a difference. The vigilance activities did not go unnoticed by local authorities, who grappled with the question of whether his actions were a threat or a supplement to their own efforts. The city became a battleground of ideologies, where the line between vigilante justice and lawful order blurred. As the world grappled with the emergence of these newfound heroes, the symphony of change played on, a melody composed of ordinary individuals rising up to stand against the shadows. Whether gifted with extraordinary abilities or armed with nothing more than determination and ingenuity, these heroes became a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit against the forces of darkness. After the intense battle with the puppeteer, the vigilant found himself at a crossroads. His city, though safer with the malevolent orchestrator behind bars, still faced numerous threats, and the hero was determined to be its unwavering protector. In the aftermath of the victory, Jeremy Stanley, the director of the mutilations, approached the vigilant with an offer that would take him beyond the confines of his city. Standing at the precipice of a decision that could alter the course of his hero's journey, Jeremy extended an invitation for the vigilant to join the mutilations and bring his unique skills to a broader stage. The mountainous headquarters, with its state-of-the-art facilities and united team, beckoned as a sanctuary where heroes collaborated to safeguard not just the city but the world. However, the vigilant, deeply rooted in his commitment to protecting his city, declined the offer. His loyalty and sense of duty compelled him to stay on the front lines, where his every move and calculated decision could make a difference. The city's safety was his personal responsibility, and he couldn't turn away from that calling. Jeremy, understanding the vigilant's unwavering dedication, respected his decision. Still, recognizing the hero's potential and the valuable ally he could be in times of need, Jeremy proposed an alternative. The vigilant could become an associate of the mutilations, an ally they could call upon when facing threats that transcended their usual scope. The vigilant accepted this compromise. He saw the merit in being part of a larger network of heroes, understanding that the challenges he faced might one day require a collaborative effort. With a mutual understanding and an unspoken acknowledgement of shared goals, the vigilant embraced his role as an associate of the mutilations. From that point forward, the vigilant continued to operate in his city, a lone sentinel against the forces of darkness. However, the knowledge that he had allies, powerful and united under the banner of the mutilations, provided a sense of reassurance. The symphony of heroism continued, with the vigilant playing his part as a guardian who, though operating independently, remained connected to a larger world of extraordinary individuals ready to stand united when the need arose. The city had been lulled into a false sense of security by the vigilant's initial successes in combating street-level crime. However, beneath the surface, a formidable adversary known as the puppeteer was pulling the strings, orchestrating criminal enterprises with a level of cunning and sophistication that posed a grave threat to the city. The puppeteer, a master manipulator with a penchant for mind games, had eluded law enforcement for years. Operating from the shadows, he controlled criminal organizations with ruthless efficiency, leaving no trace of his involvement. The city's underworld trembled at the mere mention of his name. As the vigilant delved deeper into the criminal underworld, his investigations led him to the puppeteer's intricate web of deception. The first encounter was a game of cat and mouse, a subtle dance in which the puppeteer toyed with the vigilant's resolve, leaving cryptic clues and unsettling messages. The puppeteer's actions escalated, targeting innocent lives to taunt his newfound adversary. The vigilant found himself racing against time to decipher the puppeteer's cryptic puzzles and prevent impending tragedies. The city's fate hung in the balance, with the puppeteer orchestrating chaos with malevolent glee. The puppeteer's true aim was not just to challenge the vigilant physically but to test the hero's psychological resilience. As the two engaged in a battle of wits, the puppeteer delved into the vigilant's past, exploiting vulnerabilities and unearthing painful memories. Each move, each calculated maneuver, was designed to break the hero's spirit and force him to question his own identity and purpose. The Vigilant, however, proved to be a formidable adversary. Fueled by an unwavering sense of justice and an indomitable will, he weathered the puppeteer's psychological onslaught. The trials only strengthened his resolve, forging a hero who was not just physically adept but mentally unyielding. In a climactic confrontation, the Vigilant faced the puppeteer in a high-stakes battle that played out in the shadows of the city. The hero's gadgets clashed with the puppeteer's manipulative schemes, each move a calculated step in a deadly dance. The city held its breath as the fate of the Vigilant and the citizens he sought to protect hung in the balance. In the end, the Vigilant emerged victorious, unraveling the puppeteer's intricate plans and exposing the master manipulator for the criminal genius he was. The city sighed in relief as the orchestrator of chaos was brought to justice, but the Vigilant, forever changed by the ordeal, knew that this was just the beginning of his journey. The encounter with the puppeteer not only tested the Vigilant's physical and mental fortitude but also shaped him into a hero who understood the complexities of the battle against crime. The shadows of his past may have been unveiled, but the Vigilant emerged from the darkness with a newfound clarity and an unshakable determination to continue his fight for justice in a city that desperately needed a hero. The Mutilations, united in their cause and strengthened by the addition of Victor and the Vigilant, had indeed become a formidable force against the shadows that sought to plague the world. Their combined powers, skills, and unwavering determination made them a beacon of hope for humanity. The symphony of heroism played on, and the Mutilations faced the shadows head-on, taking down one hideout after another. Word spread like wildfire through the underworld, whispers of a powerful team that struck fear into the hearts of criminals. The Mutilations became legends, their names uttered in hushed tones as a warning to those who harbored nefarious intentions. Villains, once confident in their anonymity, now found themselves hunted by a force they couldn't comprehend. Each member of the Mutilations brought something unique to the table. Chris, the leader, orchestrated strategies with military precision. Colin, the telekinetic artist, shaped the battlefield with his mesmerizing sculptures. Riley, the master of illusions, manipulated perception to confound and confuse their adversaries. Kevin, the healer, mended wounds and restored balance in the aftermath of each confrontation. Sierra, the martial artist and weapons specialist, brought a precise and lethal edge to the team. The Vigilant, with his peak human abilities, tactical intelligence, and unwavering determination, added another layer of strength. Victor, now endowed with actual powers and a newfound commitment to justice, represented the force of transformation and resilience. Together, they conducted relentless operations against the shadows, dismantling their hideouts, disrupting their plans, and sending a resounding message that evil would not prevail. The Mutilations' unity and synergy in combat became the stuff of legends, their heroism leaving an indelible mark on the world. However, as they carved a path through the shadows, the Mutilations remained vigilant. The shadows, though momentarily weakened, were far from eradicated. New adversaries, fueled by malevolence and darkness, emerged to challenge the heroes. The team knew that their battle was ongoing, a perpetual symphony of heroism against the ever-present threat of the unknown. The world, while inspired by the Mutilations' victories, also faced the reality that the fight against the shadows would require enduring effort. The heroes pressed on, their hearts resonating with the chords of hope, unity, and the belief that, as long as the symphony played on, the forces of darkness would never extinguish the light of heroism.
Deep within the shadows, a clandestine figure, veiled in mystery and malevolence, rose to a position of unprecedented power. Unbeknownst to the Mutilations, this high-ranking operative harbored ambitions that surpassed anything the heroes had faced before. The symphony of heroism, once harmonious and resounding, now faced a discordant note threatening to disrupt the delicate balance they had worked so hard to achieve. This shadowy mastermind, known only as the Umbra Strategist, possessed a cunning intellect that rivaled even the most brilliant minds within the Mutilations. Operating in the shadows with meticulous precision, the Umbra Strategist orchestrated a series of covert maneuvers, weaving a complex tapestry of schemes that eluded the heroes' awareness. The first ripples of the Umbra strategists' machinations sent shockwaves through the underworld. Shadow operatives, once disorganized and scattered, began to move with a newfound coherence and purpose. It was as if the shadows themselves were aligning under the guidance of an unseen puppeteer, pulling strings that reached into every corner of the criminal underworld. As the mutilations continued their tireless efforts against the shadows, they began to sense an unsettling shift in the balance of power. Their adversaries, once predictable, now displayed a level of coordination and strategy that hinted at a higher intelligence guiding their actions. The whispers of impending trouble reached the ears of the mutilations, leaving them with a sense of foreboding. The Umbra strategists' influence extended beyond mere tactics. They possessed knowledge that could potentially expose the vulnerabilities of each hero within the mutilations. Plans were set in motion to exploit these weaknesses, turning the heroes against each other and sowing seeds of doubt within their ranks. As the shadows coalesced under the Umbra strategists' calculated guidance, the mutilations found themselves facing an adversary whose cunning surpassed any they had encountered before. The impending threat cast a looming shadow over the heroes, challenging the very foundation of their unity and resilience. The symphony of heroism, once a triumphant melody, now faced a discordant tune that threatened to unravel the harmonious chords the mutilations had worked so hard to create. Little did they know that the true test of their mettle was about to begin, as the Umbra strategist prepared to unveil a malevolent symphony that would push the heroes to their limits and redefine the very nature of their struggle against the shadows. The Umbra strategist, shrouded in secrecy and steeped in malevolence, began to set their intricate plan in motion, drawing upon the extensive research gathered from meticulous observation of the mutilations. Every move, every decision made by the heroes was meticulously analyzed, providing valuable insights that would serve as the foundation for the Umbra strategist's scheme. Using their network of operatives embedded within the shadows, the Umbra strategist collected data on the strengths and weaknesses of each member of the mutilations. From Chris's strategic acumen to Colin's telekinetic prowess, from Riley's mastery of illusions to Kevin's healing abilities, no detail was overlooked in the pursuit of unraveling the heroes' vulnerabilities. Armed with this wealth of information, the Umbra strategist crafted a multifaceted plan designed to exploit the fractures within the mutilations' unity. Diversionary tactics, psychological manipulation, and targeted strikes were all part of the intricate web of deception woven by the shadowy mastermind. The first phase of the plan involved sowing seeds of discord within the ranks of the mutilations. Using carefully crafted misinformation and planted evidence, the Umbra strategist orchestrated a series of events designed to create doubt and suspicion among the heroes. False accusations, manufactured conflicts, and staged incidents threatened to fracture the once unbreakable bond that held the team together. Simultaneously, the Umbra strategist initiated a campaign of misdirection, diverting the mutilations' attention away from the true objectives of the shadows. False leads, decoy operations, and strategically placed traps lured the heroes into a maze of deception, obscuring the true nature of the threat that loomed on the horizon. As the mutilations grappled with internal strife and external distractions, the Umbra strategist continued to manipulate events from the shadows, exploiting every opportunity to further their agenda. With each carefully calculated move, the shadowy mastermind tightened their grip on the city, inching closer to their ultimate goal of domination. The symphony of heroism, once harmonious and resounding, now faced its greatest challenge yet. The Umbra strategist's plan, born from meticulous research and cunning strategy, threatened to unravel the very fabric of the mutilations' unity and resilience. As the shadows closed in around them, the heroes stood on the precipice of a battle that would test their bonds, their resolve, and their very existence. The Umbra, master of deception and manipulation, orchestrated a diabolical scheme designed to exploit the mutilations' sense of duty and stretch their resources thin. Shadows, masquerading as civilians in distress, were strategically placed in multiple locations across the globe, each one seemingly in need of the hero's intervention. Sensing urgency and a desire to help, the Mutilations sprang into action, dispatching teams to each location to lend aid. Unbeknownst to the heroes, every location they were sent to was a carefully laid trap, meticulously orchestrated by the Umbra. As the Mutilations arrived at each scene, they found themselves ensnared in cunningly devised ambushes, with shadows lying in wait to strike at the most opportune moment. In one city, where reports of a collapsing building had drawn the heroes' attention, they found themselves surrounded by shadowy figures concealed within the rubble, ready to pounce upon their unsuspecting prey. In another location, a distress call from a stranded vessel at sea led the heroes into the clutches of a trap, with shadows emerging from the depths to ensnare them in a watery grave. With each ambush, the Umbra sought to wear down the Mutilations' resolve and diminish their numbers, exploiting their sense of compassion and commitment to justice. The heroes, caught off guard and outnumbered, found themselves fighting for their lives against an enemy that seemed to anticipate their every move. As the shadows closed in around them, the Mutilations realized the extent of the Umbra's deception. Trapped in a web of treachery and deceit, they fought with all their might to escape the clutches of their adversaries and uncover the truth behind the orchestrated attacks. But the Umbra, ever the cunning strategist, had laid their plans with precision, leaving the Mutilations struggling to discern friend from foe amidst the chaos. As the shadows closed in, the heroes faced their greatest challenge yet, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. The Umbra, fueled by a deep-seated desire for power and domination, had been clandestinely working on a sinister project of unparalleled scope and malevolence. Hidden away in a remote location shrouded in darkness, the Umbra had been meticulously constructing a doomsday device, a cataclysmic weapon capable of unleashing untold destruction upon the world. This weapon, known only as the Eclipse Engine, harnessed the darkest energies of the cosmos, tapping into forbidden knowledge and ancient rituals to amplify its destructive potential. With the power to shroud the world in eternal darkness and plunge humanity into an abyss of despair, the Eclipse Engine represented the Umbra's ultimate bid for supremacy over all existence. Knowing that the Mutilations posed a significant threat to their plans for global domination, the Umbra devised a cunning strategy to neutralize the heroes and buy time to complete the construction of the Eclipse Engine. By orchestrating a series of elaborate traps and ambushes, the Umbra sought to scatter the Mutilations across the globe, preventing them from mounting a coordinated response to their nefarious scheme. With the heroes divided and preoccupied with thwarting the Shadow's relentless onslaught, the Umbra worked tirelessly to bring the Eclipse Engine to fruition, sparing no expense or moral consideration in their pursuit of ultimate power. Unbeknownst to the world at large, a dark storm was gathering on the horizon, and only the Mutilations stood between humanity and its impending doom. As the heroes struggled to survive against overwhelming odds, the Umbra's machinations reached their climax, with the completion of the Eclipse Engine looming ominously on the horizon. With the fate of the world hanging in the balance, the Mutilations faced their greatest challenge yet: a race against time to thwart the Umbra's diabolical plans and prevent the apocalypse from consuming all they held dear. Despite the valiant efforts of the Mutilations to subdue the shadows and overcome the traps set by the Umbra, precious time had been lost, and the shadowy mastermind's plan was already set in motion. As the heroes regrouped and assessed the situation, a sense of urgency gripped them, for they knew that the fate of the world hung in the balance. With grim determination, the Mutilations set out to unravel the Umbra's grand design and thwart the impending catastrophe. Racing against time, they followed the trail of clues and breadcrumbs left behind by the shadows, piecing together fragments of information that hinted at the true scope of the Umbra's nefarious scheme. But as they delved deeper into the shadows' machinations, the heroes realized that the Umbra's plan was far more insidious and far-reaching than they had initially imagined. The Eclipse Engine, now nearing completion, loomed as a looming threat on the horizon, its dark energies pulsating with malevolent intent. With the knowledge that time was running out, the Mutilations mobilized their forces and prepared to confront the Umbra head-on. Every member of the team, from Chris's strategic brilliance to Sierra's martial prowess, would be put to the test as they faced their most formidable adversary yet. As they raced against the clock to stop the Umbra and prevent the activation of the Eclipse engine, the Mutilations knew that failure was not an option. With the fate of the world hanging in the balance, they braced themselves for the final showdown, a battle that would decide the destiny of humanity and the very future of existence itself. Frustration simmered within the ranks of the Mutilations as they grappled with the daunting task of unraveling the Umbra's intricate web of deception. With time running short and the stakes higher than ever, the heroes knew they needed to act swiftly to uncover the truth behind the shadowy mastermind's grand design. Gathering two of the shadows that had led the ambushes, the Mutilations subjected them to intense interrogation, hoping to extract any shred of information that could lead them closer to the Umbra's lair. Despite their best efforts, the shadows remained elusive, their loyalty to their malevolent master unwavering. However, amidst the shadows' stoic silence, a single word emerged: Umbra. It was a name that sent a chill down the spines of the heroes, for they knew that behind that name lurked a mind of unparalleled darkness and cunning. The Umbra, the puppeteer pulling the strings from the shadows, was the key to unlocking the mysteries that shrouded their enemies' true intentions. Armed with this newfound knowledge, the Mutilations set out on a desperate quest to uncover the identity and whereabouts of the Umbra. Every lead, every clue, no matter how faint, was pursued with relentless determination, as the heroes raced against time to prevent the cataclysmic catastrophe that loomed on the horizon. With each step bringing them closer to the truth, the Mutilations steeled themselves for the inevitable confrontation with their elusive adversary. For in the heart of darkness, where shadows danced and malevolent whispers echoed, the fate of the world hung in the balance, and only the Mutilations stood between humanity and the abyss. As the name Umbra reverberated through the air, a flicker of recognition stirred within the Vigilant's mind. It was a name that resonated with a sense of dread and foreboding, one that had haunted the shadows of the city long before the Mutilations' battle against the Umbra began. In the depths of his memory, the Vigilant recalled whispers and rumors that had circulated among the criminal underworld, a name spoken in hushed tones, a figure of fear and reverence among those who dwelled in the shadows. The Umbra, a shadowy enigma who struck fear into the hearts of even the most hardened criminals, was a name that carried weight and significance in the world of vigilantism. As the Vigilant pieced together fragments of memories and encounters from his time fighting crime in the city, a chilling realization dawned upon him. The Umbra, the elusive mastermind behind the Mutilations' current plight, was none other than a notorious figure whose name had become synonymous with terror and ruthlessness. Driven by a renewed sense of purpose and determination, the Vigilant knew that he held a crucial piece of the puzzle in his hands. Armed with his knowledge of the Umbra's reputation and modus operandi, he joined forces with the Mutilations, bringing his unique skills and insights to bear in their quest to uncover the truth and thwart their elusive adversary. With the shadowy figure of the Umbra looming ever closer, the Vigilant and the Mutilations embarked on a perilous journey into the heart of darkness, where secrets lay hidden and destinies were forged in the fires of adversity. For in the face of overwhelming odds and insurmountable challenges, they knew that only by standing together could they hope to overcome the malevolent threat that threatened to engulf them all. Guided by the Vigilant's knowledge of the criminal underworld in his hometown, the Mutilations ventured into the shadowy depths of the city, where secrets lurked in the alleys and whispers echoed through the streets. Following the Vigilant's lead, they arrived at a secluded location known to be frequented by former shadows, those with ties to the Umbra's network and valuable information to share. As they entered the dimly lit hideout, the atmosphere crackled with tension, every shadow seeming to hold secrets waiting to be revealed. The Vigilant's presence commanded respect, his reputation as a formidable crime fighter preceding him, and the shadows eyed the newcomers with a mixture of apprehension and curiosity. With a steely gaze and unwavering resolve, the Vigilant approached one of the former shadows, a figure whose past affiliations with the Umbra made them a potential source of invaluable intelligence. Through a combination of persuasive interrogation and subtle coercion, the Vigilant began to extract fragments of information, each piece bringing them closer to unraveling the mysteries that shrouded the Umbra's true identity and intentions. As the shadows reluctantly divulged scraps of knowledge and whispered rumors, the mutilations pieced together a clearer picture of the looming threat they faced. From clandestine operations to covert dealings, every revelation brought them closer to uncovering the truth behind the Umbra's grand design and thwarting their diabolical plans. Armed with newfound insights and a deeper understanding of their adversary, the mutilations prepared to embark on the next phase of their mission, to confront the Umbra head-on and put an end to their reign of darkness once and for all. With the Vigilant leading the charge, they ventured forth into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in their quest for justice and redemption. As the former Shadow led the mutilations through the labyrinthine corridors of darkness, they recounted the grim details of the Umbra's diabolical plan. With each step bringing them closer to their elusive adversary, a sense of urgency gripped the heroes, for they knew that time was running out and the fate of the world hung in the balance. With a mixture of dread and determination, the former Shadow described the Eclipse engine, the malevolent machine constructed by the Umbra with the power to unleash untold devastation upon the world. They spoke of its dark energies and sinister capabilities, painting a grim picture of the cataclysmic chaos that awaited if the machine were to reach completion. As the mutilations listened intently, their minds raced with thoughts of the impending catastrophe and the lives that hung in the balance. With each passing moment, the Eclipse engine drew closer to completion, its dark purpose inching ever closer to fruition. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the mutilations quickened their pace, their footsteps echoing through the corridors, as they raced against time to reach the Umbra's lair and put an end to their nefarious scheme. With every passing minute, the stakes grew higher, and the need for swift action became increasingly urgent. With the fate of the world hanging in the balance, the mutilations braced themselves for the final confrontation, a battle that would decide the destiny of humanity and the very future of existence itself. As they pressed forward, their resolve hardened and their determination unwavering, for they knew that failure was not an option, and the world depended on their success. Within the dark confines of his lair, the Umbra stood amidst a thrumming array of arcane machinery, his eyes gleaming with malevolent intent, as he explained the true nature of his nefarious creation to a shadowy figure kneeling before him. With a voice dripping with malice, the Umbra detailed the sinister capabilities of his machine, the Eclipse engine, a device designed to unleash chaos and despair upon the world. As he spoke, tendrils of shadow danced around him, weaving a tapestry of darkness that mirrored the depths of his twisted ambitions. The Eclipse engine is more than just a machine, the Umbra intoned, his voice resonating with dark power. Once activated and unleashed upon the world, its shadow will cast a veil of malevolence, twisting the minds of all who fall within its grasp. Good will turn to evil, and evil will become even more depraved, plunging humanity into an abyss of madness and despair. As the Umbra spoke, the shadowy figure listened intently, their eyes wide with a mixture of awe and fear. They had glimpsed the depths of their master's malevolence, but now, faced with the full extent of his dark design, they trembled at the thought of the chaos that would be unleashed upon the world. With a chilling smile, the Umbra gestured toward the looming machinery surrounding them, each component pulsating with dark energy. Once the Eclipse engine is activated, there will be no escape from the shadows that envelop the world, he declared, his voice filled with triumph. Humanity will be consumed by darkness, and I shall reign supreme as the master of this new world order. As the shadows whispered their allegiance and the Eclipse engine hummed with dark anticipation, the Umbra prepared to unleash his malevolent creation upon an unsuspecting world, unaware of the heroes racing against time to stop him and thwart his sinister plans. The stage was set for a showdown of epic proportions, where light and darkness would collide in a battle for the very soul of humanity. As the mutilations arrived at the Umbra's lair, a sense of urgency permeated the air, their hearts pounding with determination, as they prepared to confront the shadowy mastermind and put an end to his malevolent scheme once and for all. Led by Chris, the team braced themselves for the battle ahead, each member ready to face whatever dangers lay in their path. With Chris leading the charge, the team pressed forward, navigating the treacherous corridors of the Umbra's fortress with precision and determination. Colin's telekinetic abilities proved invaluable, clearing obstacles and incapacitating enemies with swift efficiency. Sierra's martial prowess and Riley's illusions provided crucial support, keeping the shadows at bay as they advanced deeper into the heart of darkness. Meanwhile, Kevin's healing powers ensured that the team remained in peak condition, his soothing touch bolstering their resolve and fortifying their spirits for the challenges that lay ahead. Alongside them, Victor and the Vigilant fought with unwavering determination, their combined strength and tactical prowess driving back the shadows with each step they took. As they neared the Umbra's inner sanctum, the Mist, the former shadow-turned ally, guided them through the labyrinthine corridors, his knowledge of the fortress proving invaluable in navigating the treacherous terrain. With every shadow that fell before them, the team grew ever closer to their ultimate goal, the Eclipse engine and the Umbra himself. At last, they reached the chamber where the Umbra waited, his dark presence casting a pall over the room as he stood before the Eclipse engine, his malevolent gaze fixed upon the approaching heroes. With a sense of grim determination, Chris and the Mutilations prepared to face their greatest challenge yet, knowing that the fate of the world hung in the balance. With a battle cry that echoed through the chamber, they launched themselves into the fray, their weapons flashing and powers blazing as they clashed with the Umbra and his minions. In a whirlwind of chaos and darkness, the fate of humanity hung in the balance, as the Mutilations fought to stop the Umbra and prevent the Eclipse engine from unleashing its cataclysmic power upon the world. As the battle raged on, the heroes of the Mutilations found themselves locked in a desperate struggle against the forces of darkness, their every move countered by the relentless onslaught of the Umbra's minions. With time running out and the Eclipse engine nearing completion, they knew that they needed a plan, a daring strategy that would turn the tide of battle in their favor and allow them to stop the Umbra before it was too late. Gathering together amidst the chaos of the battlefield, Chris and the Mutilations quickly formulated a plan of action, their minds racing with possibilities, as they sought a way to overcome the seemingly insurmountable odds arrayed against them. Drawing upon their collective strengths and abilities, they devised a bold and audacious strategy, one that would require precision timing, unwavering teamwork, and unyielding determination to execute successfully. With each member of the team assigned a specific role and task, they prepared to put their plan into motion, knowing that the fate of the world depended on their success. With Colin using his telekinetic powers to create a diversion, Sierra and the Mist would lead a small strike team to disable the remaining defenses guarding the Eclipse engine, while Riley's illusions would sow confusion among the Umbra's minions, creating openings for Kevin and the Vigilant to strike at their vulnerable flanks. Meanwhile, Chris and Victor would confront the Umbra head-on, their combined strength and determination serving as a bulwark against the darkness that threatened to engulf them all. With every moment counting down to the launch of the Eclipse engine, the heroes knew that they had to act swiftly and decisively if they were to have any hope of stopping the Umbra and saving the world from destruction. With their plan in place and their resolve steeled for the final confrontation, the Mutilations braced themselves for the decisive moment that would determine the fate of humanity. As the seconds ticked away and the tension mounted, they prepared to unleash their full power and face the Umbra and his minions in a battle that would decide the destiny of the world. As Chris and Victor were knocked aside by the higher-ranking shadows, leaving them stunned and vulnerable, the Vigilant surged forward with a determined resolve to confront the Umbra and thwart his plans. With his genius-level intellect and unparalleled skills, he raced towards the Eclipse engine, his mind racing as he sought to decipher its complex coding and disarm the machine before it was too late. But as the Vigilant delved into the intricate web of the machine's programming, he quickly realized the enormity of the task before him. The coding was like a labyrinth, twisting and shifting in ways that defied comprehension, its complexity far beyond anything he had ever encountered before. Despite his best efforts, the Vigilant found himself overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of the challenge, his mind racing against time as the seconds ticked away inexorably. With each passing moment, the darkness of despair threatened to engulf him, as he struggled to find a way to stop the Eclipse engine from unleashing its catastrophic power upon the world. As the machine reached its final countdown, a sense of dread settled over the room, the air thick with anticipation and fear. And then, with a deafening roar, the Eclipse engine was activated, unleashing a wave of darkness that engulfed everything in its path. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as the darkness enveloped them all, freezing them in place, as the full force of the Umbra's malevolence washed over them. The Mutilations looked on in horror, their hearts heavy with the crushing weight of defeat, as they realized that they had failed in their mission to stop the Umbra and save the world from destruction. In the face of overwhelming darkness, the heroes of the Mutilations stood united, their spirits unbroken even in the darkest hour. For though they had lost this battle, they knew that their fight was far from over, and that as long as there was hope, there would always be a chance for redemption and victory. And so, with grim determination, they prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that the true test of their strength and courage was yet to come. As chaos erupted across the globe, fueled by the dark influence of the Eclipse engine, Sierra, Victor, and the Vigilant found themselves ensnared in the grip of the Umbra's malevolent power. Their minds clouded by darkness, they were compelled to act out in ways that were uncharacteristic and horrifying, succumbing to the primal urges unleashed by the machine. For Sierra, a skilled martial artist and defender of justice, it was a cruel twist of fate to find herself consumed by the very darkness she had fought against. Her formidable skills now turned against her allies, as she became an unwitting pawn in the Umbra's sinister game. Victor, once a beacon of hope and redemption, found himself consumed by the shadows, his newfound commitment to justice eclipsed by the overwhelming power of the Eclipse engine. His actions now dictated by the dark impulses that gripped his mind, he became a shadow of his former self, a mere puppet in the hands of his malevolent master. And the Vigilant, with his genius intellect and unwavering determination, now found himself lost in a haze of confusion and despair, his brilliant mind twisted by the insidious influence of the Umbra's machine. Unable to decipher the complexities of the coding that controlled his own thoughts, he was left powerless to resist the dark forces that sought to manipulate him. As Chris and the other members of the Mutilations fled the scene, their hearts heavy with sorrow and regret, they knew that they faced an uphill battle to save their friends and free the world from the grip of darkness. With every moment that passed, the Umbra's power grew stronger, and the stakes grew higher. But even in the face of overwhelming odds, Chris and his allies refused to give up hope. For they knew that as long as they stood together, there was still a chance to turn the tide of darkness and restore peace to a world torn apart by chaos and despair. And so, with determination burning in their hearts, they set out on a desperate quest to find a way to break the Umbra's hold and save their friends, and the world, from the brink of destruction. As the remaining members of the Mutilations huddled in their hidden refuge, their hearts sank at the chilling announcement broadcasted by the Umbra on every form of communication worldwide. The image of Chris and his companions flashed across screens, their faces branded as wanted criminals, their very existence deemed a threat to the Umbra's newfound reign of darkness. The weight of the accusation hung heavy in the air, as the gravity of their situation became painfully clear. Hunted by the world they had sworn to protect, branded as villains in the eyes of those they had fought to save, the Mutilations found themselves cornered and outnumbered, their every move scrutinized and their every action condemned. For Chris and his companions, it was a bitter betrayal, a cruel twist of fate that turned them from heroes to outlaws in the blink of an eye. And yet, even as the world turned against them, they knew that they could not falter, for the fate of humanity still hung in the balance, and the Umbra's grip on power must be broken at all costs. With their backs against the wall and the weight of the world bearing down upon them, the Mutilations steeled themselves for the battle ahead. With every passing moment, the danger grew more imminent, and the need for action more pressing. But as they prepared to face their enemies head-on, they knew that they would not go down without a fight, for they were the last hope of a world on the brink of darkness, and they would do whatever it took to save it. As the chaos wrought by the Umbra's machine engulfed the world, a small town nestled in the heart of Montana stood as a beacon of light amidst the encroaching darkness. Unbeknownst to the rest of the world, A group of individuals within this town possessed powers granted to them by the celestial energy unleashed during the epic clash between Andrew and Anti-Andrew years ago. Unlike the heroes known as the Mutilations, these individuals had chosen not to align themselves with notions of good or evil. Instead, they wielded their powers for their own benefit, using them to navigate the challenges of their everyday lives and carve out a semblance of normalcy in a world gone mad. Among them were 4 individuals whose lives had been forever changed by the celestial energy coursing through their veins. From telekinetic feats to illusions that could bend reality, their abilities were as diverse as they were powerful, yet they remained hidden from the prying eyes of the outside world. In the quiet streets and secluded corners of their small town, these individuals moved with a quiet confidence, their powers a closely guarded secret known only to themselves. Yet even as they sought to distance themselves from the chaos unfolding on a global scale, they could not ignore the call to action echoing in the depths of their souls. For as the darkness spread and the world teetered on the brink of oblivion, they knew that their powers carried with them a responsibility, a duty to stand against the forces of darkness, and protect those who could not protect themselves. And so, with a sense of purpose burning within their hearts, they prepared to step out of the shadows and into the light, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, and join the fight to save humanity from the grip of darkness.